Saying?
It's one of the
What you
biggest.
get? What kind of gift you getting? Hold on, you probably getting them a wallet, or some
No.
cologne.
My dad and I have had a pretty long-standing relationship when it comes to gifts. And I just give him money. I always give him money. That way he can do whatever he wants to with it. And we have such a relationship that, just throughout the year, I'll just send him some money, throughout the month or whatnot. And he's like, what is this for? And I'm like, nothing, just for being amazing. And
oh, that is dope.
Yeah, he definitely knows that he put a lot into us. And so he's reaping now, all his hard work. So
that's what I like to hear. Okay. Well, listen, as a Black man, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Love my Black man.
Hey man, listen, man. Like, hey, we need those kind of things because we don't really gift ourselves things or spoil ourselves or whatnot. So
Right.
it's great to hear, women, Black women in our lives, appreciate us even when we don't do a great job at doing it ourselves.
Vice versa.
Facts, big facts. All right, so I just want to make sure I got these settings right, so I don't have to keep clicking to allow people in. Hey, Sharonda, how you doing? So here's how this thing gonna go. All right, y'all. So welcome to BCloud Engineers with our Black Tech Heroes. I'm your host, founder, Demikos. I am here with the lovely Delijah.
Yeah,
I got it right? Hey, I'm in the building. You know what I'm saying? Delijah Williams, a senior software engineer. Got it right?
That's correct.
All right. So before we jump into her story, and I just want to kind of give you all the ground rules. So if you got a question, just raise your hand, hit the raise your hand icon. I usually reserve the Q&As closer towards the end of the call. If you have any comments, questions as well, you can always hit that chat box and we'll glance at it from time to time. So thank y'all all for joining on. This is all to help all of us, you know what I'm saying? Especially you all who are trying to get into the field by giving you real life perspectives from real life Black tech professionals that are actually out there in the field doing the work. So, all right, Delijah. All right. So let me ask you this. So let's go all the way back to talking about how did you get started in IT? Well, first off, you're in the front end or back end currently? Back as far as developer. You're a developer, right? Oh, you can't. Oh, my bad. I muted you. Man, listen, man. Hey. Whew. Hey, man. Listen, it's been that kind of weird. Hold on. Let me
There we go.
There we go. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay.
No
sorry.
problem.
Yeah. So yeah. Can you talk about a little bit about what you do currently, and then we're gonna dive in the background how you ended up getting into the position right now.
Okay, sounds good. First of all, I'm delighted to be here. Those people who know me personally, I'm hoping they're going to watch the replay, but they know I'm very passionate about sharing my journey and encouraging other people of color, specifically Black women and Black men, into the IT space. So I'm going to tell you guys the history, but to answer your question earlier, I am more of a back-end developer. Okay. So I deal with the data that is ingested, transformed, yada, yada. So that
technical words, I hear you. Okay.
Take notes. But I deal with the back-end data that provides reporting, more like analytics and reporting. I will say I kind of slide into the front end on some portions because I'm considered the SME in my particular team for Power BI. Reporting.
SMEs are what is it? Smart something expertise.
Subject matter expert.
Subject matter, yeah. Oh my God, they're like the know-it-all basically. No. Everybody goes to for advice. Well, I'm sorry.
And I'll take that. I'll claim that. A lot of times I'll say, I'll try to be demure and stuff, but no, I'm gonna own my space. I am.
There we go, girl. You are confident. Hear me.
So I do roll over into front end when you're talking about data engineering because I transform the data, provide it to reporting, but I'm also the person to go in and connect to that data and provide enterprise-wide reporting. So that's what I currently do. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, and that's fascinating because and we're definitely gonna get into this later on in the talk. But you don't, you have so many people that are afraid to touch code and programming and scripting, and so and especially our Black women are afraid to. Like, oh no, I don't want to do techie stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to do code. So to see you having been in the field and are in the field on the back end, on the development side, and you're a SME. Oh my God, like guys, a SME is like a high level consultant for the company. Like that's what everybody runs to when it comes to a particular part of the application or infrastructure that's related to that person's job. Like, well, that area. That she is the person to go to, this is high level stuff. All right. So how did you, going all the way back, how did you get into computers? Did you have a VTech? Did somebody give you, one of those Texas calculators? You're like, this is interesting.
So listen, okay, I'm gonna take it all the way back. I think I think the demographic or the audience is a good demographic to repeat this to, but I'm gonna take it back to MySpace. Okay, remember the days of MySpace? We were just kind of getting into
HTML,
social media and HTML and things. And so it started because I wanted to customize my page. I'm like, I don't want this background.
Hold on. This all started out of an interest of vanity because you wanted a lit MySpace page?
Hey, gotta start somewhere.
Oh God. Okay, that's interesting. I like it. I like the angle. Okay.
I wanted to customize my background. I wanted to add custom music, just a few other things. I wanted to add, the marquee and things of that nature. So the scrolling text.
Oh, okay. Dang, your background was popping. I didn't have any graphics in my background. I had like the Will Smith, Prince of Bel-Air background because my whole theme was purple.
So I saw people's pages like that, and I've always been the type of person, I want to be a little different. That's just naturally who I am. So it started there. I was also very heavily involved in my local church at the time, and they needed a website. So because I had written a little bit of HTML code with my MySpace, I signed up to build their first website. And it was awful. Like, I hope it's no longer out there anywhere, but it was terrible. But for the time frame, we're talking about early 2000s, it was okay. So that's where I started. I went to school for engineering, but I was interested more on an industrial engineering side. Quit all of that because I didn't want to work hard. I was like, I don't want to go to class. I want to have energy for all the parties at night. And so
what school was this?
This was NC State University in North Carolina.
Okay, girl. What is that? Wolfpack?
Wolfpack Pride, yeah. But I really can't claim that fame because I dropped out of school. And
was this before or after Kanye graduation now?
You know what? This was about the same time.
Oh, okay. Oh, you was on the wave. Okay. Okay, you was on the wave.
This was about the same time because like 2003, I picked up everything and I moved to Dallas, Texas. And I finished my career there, or my school career there, but it was in a social science. Okay, so yada, yada. About 3 to 5 years later, I started thinking.
You said you got your social science degree.
Yeah, so I was a sociologist. That's my degree is in sociology.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, yeah, this is good. Okay.
That's why I really highlight to everyone that it doesn't matter your background. You can get into IT, you can get into the coding side, whatever you want to do, doesn't matter. So I would say about 2012, because this is when I had my daughter and things just had to change and had to grow. And I was like, I can't see myself. I'm already here in the administrative space. I already see the glass ceiling, and this is not going to provide a good life for me and my daughter. So I started seeking out internships, and I happened upon one in Georgia. Now I was living in North Carolina at the time, but I saw one in Georgia at Career Builder, and they had a Bridge the Skills Gap program where they took people who had any type of background. Like if you were just coding on your own at home, as long as you could understand some of the work they gave you, they took people like that, specifically women and minorities.
How'd you find this? This is in 2012.
This was in 2009. No.
You said
It took
4
me
years.
it took me 4 years to actually get the nerve to start looking for this. 2012 is whenever I started thinking there's got to be a better way.
Okay.
2016 is whenever I decided, you know what, there's something for me in Georgia. I don't know, but I got to get out of my little 5,000, person town in North Carolina and make that move. So
Shout
I
out
knew.
to Concord. I'm sorry, it's hometown.
No, it sounds more like Salisbury.
Hey, that's down the
Okay.
street. Wait a minute.
Or Gastonia. Okay.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. You bringing me back. I'm about to go get a cherry wine. Hold on. Oh.
If you've seen that guy on TikTok who does he does to that song that says switch my weaves, switch my hair, or something like that, and he will switch his wig. Hey, Shakita. Okay,
Oh
right
my
up the street.
God.
252
Okay,
representing.
704 in the building. I see y'all. Okay.
252 representing. Anyway, getting back on track. I'm sorry.
Yeah. 4 years. Yeah.
2016, I moved to Georgia. 2017, I applied to this internship. I heard about the internship from my sister who had applied and went through the program probably 5 years earlier. And I remember staying with her for a little bit, and we were talking about rent, and she had given me a rent amount that she was paying that was like 2.5 times the most rent that I've ever paid. And I was like, so tell me again how you did, how you're doing this.
Remember we was drinking and we was talking, you was telling me and I wasn't really listening, but I was nodding.
No, she definitely told me about it before. And I was like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm not really interested. So long story short, I already kind of had a leg in, or the door kind of cracked open for me because her name was good there. She had gone through the program. She had succeeded in getting into her first job, and she was probably there about 2 or 3 years at this point. So I applied. I was very, very unhappy and dissatisfied with the job that I had at the time, which was assistant office manager. I was making about 50,000, which is the most I had made ever in my life. So I should have been happy, but I was like, man, this is not cutting it. The type of, what do you call those? Microaggressions that I had to deal with, just the overall feeling of being labeled this, but treated like this. I was like, nah, it's not gonna work for me. But of course I have a daughter to support, so I can't just up and quit. So I'm not very religious, but I am spiritual, and I come from a religious background.
Wait a minute, you started your tech career with the church. What you mean?
Absolutely, and that's a whole nother session.
Okay, gotcha.
But long story short, I've come to this point now where, I'm relying on spirituality and the things that I feel and the God within me. And so I was crying one night over Thanksgiving, like, I can't keep doing this. I don't know what else there is. And I have been looking for this particular internship for like a year now, the time that I had been in Georgia. And my sister came in to see that I was crying, one of my other sisters, and she was like, just get something different. Just get something different. And I was like, it's not that easy. It's not that easy just to up and get another $50,000 job right now in 2016. So I kid you not, and I will repeat this everywhere I go, because what some people call the Holy Spirit.
I already know what you're about to say. Say it.
Whatever you want to call that spirit, the person that talks to you said, look for that internship. And I stopped crying. I was in a dark room, sitting on a bed, twin size, because I didn't have my own place. And I looked on my laptop, Googled the internship, and it popped right up. And I would say the closing date was probably within a week or so to apply. I applied that weekend for Thanksgiving. After the holiday, they called me back for an interview. Within the next week, they accepted me to the program. I went in on the data warehousing side. So I learned all of the principles of data warehousing, ETL processes,
relational databases.
That's right, relational databases. And that's kind of what brought me to this point. I started on premise, but now everything is moved to the cloud. And so when I got this position at Insight, they're a consulting agency here in one of their offices is in Charlotte, and they're based out of Arizona. But with consulting, you have to stay, on top of the leading technology right now. So of course they're already in the cloud, and here I am now as an engineer in the cloud.
Wow, so many questions. So I wanted to go back to something pivotal you said. You said when your sister first mentioned when you started to take her advice a little serious, and she first mentioned about, you can get another type of job or whatever, and you was like, well, I just, the first thing that came to your mind was like, and I say this because I relate this to a lot of the potential BCEs who are waiting to, build their careers in the cloud, stifled by fear and stifled, yeah, and it's like they have all these real reasons of why not to proceed, why not to learn, why not take the internship, why not to pay for the study course, why not to pay for the certification, why not to go to the interviews, why not to apply. They have all these why nots, all these fears, as you were saying, and you determined at that point, like, to go for it, like why not me?
Absolutely.
What's the worst that could happen if I just try?
Yeah.
And that it's gonna be hard tomorrow just as it is today. So if I don't take a step forward to do something else, I don't get myself further away from the hard. So what was that transition like for you mentally, that switch? What was it?
D'Amicos, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So D'Amicos, I want to say intuition is everything. Listen to your intuition, because that's literally the voice that said, look for that internship. And like you said, I was paralyzed by fear, because I'm like, if this doesn't work out, I just gave up the most money I've ever been making. I'm going to consider myself a failure. I might have to go back home to North Carolina. My daughter's younger at that time. And so I've never been one of those people that wanted to rely on government assistance and things like that. And so there was a lot for me to lose by taking this risk. However, I was already losing by being unhappy, dissatisfied, discriminated against, and basically people treating me as if you should appreciate this because, we're giving you this amount of money. So everything that we do, on the other hand, you should be able to deal with it. Like, I was so unhappy going to work every day. I was unhappy living with other people. I'm a pretty free spirited person. Like I went to South Korea for a couple of years and taught English and things. And that's how I met my daughter Naomi's dad. But that's the kind of lifestyle I wanted to be able to live. It's like, I can do this if I want to. So it was a big risk, because here I am going from the amount of money I'm making now to taking this internship that's paying $10 an hour, only 20 hours a week. That they're actually paying you for. So $200 a week is what I was bringing in, versus a couple of thousand a week that I was bringing in my previous job. But I realized that this was a 6-month internship. And if I could take this sacrifice for 6 months, my life would change exponentially. And I said, I have to take this risk. I have to. My family was supportive. I was able to stay with people for no overhead. I taught English to Chinese students in the evenings and in the mornings.
Somebody gonna cut you off. Hold on, somebody gonna cut you off already. But see, you got family that'll take you in. You can live with that for free, and that. I ain't got all that.
This is true.
But they're gonna keep piling up reasons for them to not. When it's at the end of the day, it's the fear you talked about. But
That's right.
But you talked about the internships. I've always said, one time, give me 1 second, Damon, hold your question. You can type your question in the comments too, but just hold tight for like 10 more minutes. So this internship, because I made a video talking about internships. How do you feel, and what's your approach? What if you were to start all over? Or some mentees would reach out to you and they said, hey, I have this opportunity for a Google internship, or for this company out of New Jersey, whoever. What would be your take on them approaching internships to build experience and get in the door, if they want to go that route?
That's a great question. I will say, take the internship. If you can't afford to take the internship, it's okay. You can still pursue this path and be successful on your own. I have too many cases or too many examples of people who do the self-study at home. They take the courses, they get the certifications, and they still end up at the same destination. But if you have the ability to take that internship and give you practical, real world experience, do it, take it. Take it. Because I was able to work alongside of full-time employees who've been doing data warehousing forever. So I have my own small project, but anything that any roadblock that I run into, I'm able to just literally look over at my neighbor and say, hey, Rajneet, Sky, these were my teammates that I remember from Career Builder. I'm running into this issue. I have, Googled this, I have searched for this, I've applied this, and it's still not working. And they will know the answer. So you're getting better a lot faster. So yeah.
I love that. And I always say, and I've always say to what you're saying is that when it comes to internships, if you're a person that has responsibilities and like you said, you can't afford to take on the internship, but you have to go other means, like you said, self-study, maybe you have to do a crash course, weekend class or some sort of boot camp, something, then, you take the alternative route, because I'm all about getting paid. I'm like, listen, if we listen, if you're going to sit at some internship for like 6 months for free, listen, if that's what you want to do you. Would I suggest it? No, because I'm like, if they making money, I need to be making some money.
Yeah.
You hear me? So, and I get people the trade-off. I get it. Do what's best for you at the end of the day. But I'm glad you gave that expertise for someone who's went the internship route, because I've had, women get in me in my DM, ask me, well, what about this? What do you think about this internship? What do you think about this, that internship? I do want to also caution them to be cautious that there are predators out there of smaller companies, especially, that try to prey on you all to do this internship. We're going to train you for this amount of time. And then, but afterwards, you have to give us a portion of your salary. Or afterwards, you're going to owe us this amount of money that you pay us.
There are a lot of programs I've seen like that. Not internships, but training programs I've seen like that. And, it seems good. It sounds good. But why split your profits? You get all of your profits. You
hear me?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. All right. So as far as certifications, did you acquire any certifications along your journey? Because I gotta emphasize, you're a SME. Y'all, this is high level technical person. This person I will go to for the company I work to for help. Like, after we reach out to our solutions architect and they give us a certain response and we like, they don't know. Go to the SME. Because the SME gonna know at least minimum of how things work and give you a company-based information of how things run. Like, the SME is just, I'm sorry, I'm just so excited that you're a SME. That's crazy. But go ahead. All right.
I mean,
certifications.
There are pros and cons to being a SME, but when you get to that level, it does motivate you to learn even more because people are going to ask you. But certifications, yes. One thing I want to highlight, Insight, that's my current employer, and we're a consulting firm. And so when I win, they win. Okay, so whenever I'm certified, they can, lack of a better word, they can provide me. They can provide me as a resource to somebody else at a higher billable rate. So one of the perks of working here is getting your certifications, and Insight pays for them. So we don't have to worry about doing that out of pocket. But I did obtain the DA 100, which is the Microsoft data analyst engineer or data analyst, certification. And that's for Power BI. That's to say that you know the ins and outs of Power BI, how to report, how to analyze, how to connect to data, and even some of the data modeling, okay? And then I've also obtained what's now, I wanna say the DP, it might be 200 or 300, but it's the one that is the certified Azure Data Engineer Associate from Microsoft. So that means that the Azure platform, so from ingesting the data through Azure Data Factory, all the way up to some analytics and stuff with Azure Synapse, that entire platform, I tested, I got that certification to say that I'm well equipped to handle a project that uses these tools.
Let me ask you this. And you're up all the way up from when you started at the 6 months Career Builder, all the way up today. How just a rough estimate, how would you say, how much have you spent on education?
Oh, wow.
It's a rough estimate, ballpark.
Maybe $500.
Excuse me?
I mean, somehow I am blessed that people will pay me to learn. But yeah, on personal education, and most of that is just like study type courses for my certifications. But outside of that, there's so many free resources. The internship was, a paid internship. Certifications are paid for by Insight. So I really haven't spent a lot of out-of-pocket costs. So
Here, and I bring it up because
it is.
I want our people to see that the reason why I push for us Blacks especially to get more into the field of cloud tech is because the investment amount required to get in outside of time, fiscally, is very viable versus the traditional means. And I'm not knocking college at all. You can utilize whichever route is best for you. But you're going to go to a college or go somewhere and pay, or even a program, a high training program, several thousands of dollars, 13, 30, 40, 50, go into debt. And for a career path that doesn't compensate you for the debt you accumulated. And that's why when you said about you got your social degrees, I tell people all the time, like, look, we need more Blacks in the social healthcare space. Absolutely. We at the same time, we need to encourage students that stop going to school for social degrees. Like, if you're passionate and care that much, after you get your engineering degree or law degree, whatever, and you get into the field, you build a stable living. If you're that passionate about socially helping people, then you can always go back to school or go get certified training somewhere where you can, at this time, where you can afford it and it doesn't cause you to go into debt and you can pursue those career paths. But stop going to school for these social degrees that don't end up paying you. And again, if you're passionate about it, you're dead serious about it, then you're going to do it regardless. That's fine. But I'm always about, when it comes to helping people, is the buy-in as the risk as minimum as possible. And I'm not a big proponent of you accumulating debt to build a lucrative career. So I'm glad you said that 500. I was going to ask you another question. So you got you're mostly cemented in Azure. What made you choose Azure over AWS or Google? Oh, I muted you again? Man, hold on. I'm sorry.
No, I muted myself to minimize the feedback.
Okay.
So Azure is what we were working with very heavily, I would say, the past couple of years. So it made sense for our type of projects to become Azure certified. We're now getting into like the GCP space and AWS space. And so now they're looking for more people to get certified in those spaces. Azure, AWS, GCP are big platforms. So if that's the route you're taking, go for it, because they're not enough resources right now, people who are highly trained and skilled to do those types of projects. Azure, I kind of just went into because that was our track for my consulting agency right now. So,
and I'm glad you even said that, because I want people to know, because they get so caught up and stuck in, well, which one is the best to get in?
Yeah,
all of them are the best.
You
just want to get in and start doing something until you become good enough to make a decision. Well, maybe this other platform is better suited for my career aspirations, or maybe you want to stick to what you're doing in the platform you're doing. But just pick any platform. I always tell people it's like choosing Chevy, Ford, or Toyota.
Yep.
They're all cars. You fall in love with it along the way. You figure out which one you like and don't like. Trial and everything, but just pick one. I don't care which one you pick.
And the beauty of it is that most cloud providers or platforms have parallels. So you learn one. It's just like when you're learning a coding language and they say, okay, if you can learn this type of coding language, then the next one will be easier and the next one will be even easier once you understand the logic. The cloud platforms are similar. They're all going to have some type of ingestion method. They're all going to have some type of transformation method. They're all going to have some type of analytics method. And they usually run very much parallel with a few features that make them unique. So
All right, and this is my last question. I'm opening up for Q&A.
Okay.
What would you say has been a part of your journey that you were most intimidated of? And then when you actually got to that point or got to that challenge, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was.
Oh my gosh. So speaking to a technical audience is still something that I struggle with now. I am forced into that role because now I'm a senior software engineer. I can't shy away from that. I can't play the background anymore. And I'm the subject matter expert, which means I come into pre-sales calls where I'm talking to IT directors and their entire teams of highly intelligent people who have expertise in other areas that I wouldn't be able to speak to. So being able to speak to a technical audience is almost like when you get into IT, one of the things that you want to practice often, whether it be with someone who has no idea what you're talking about or another peer, is just IT tech talk, the language, because it's just like learning a foreign language. You'll learn what it means, you'll learn how to use it, and then you'll have to practice how to become fluent in it. So now I'm at that part, that stage where I know how to use it. In certain areas, I'm pretty fluent, instead of layman's terms where I might say, yeah, we want to bring the data in. Now, instead, I'll say we want to ingest the data in this way, or through this platform, through this tool, a lot of code words that can mean a lot of different things are thrown around in these conversations. And so sometimes right.
You learn to speak shorthand.
And you learn to speak shorthand.
Yeah, it's
because people don't have time.
Shorthand. Yeah, exactly.
Not have time on these calls. Okay, we're in a 30-minute call where we have to go over about 10 bullet points. And if you're that person that's taking 5 minutes to answer a question, you might not be invited next time.
Yeah. So instead of saying, we have 12 servers and this, a cluster.
That's right. That's right.
But, okay. All right. So I'm gonna open it up for Q&A. Everybody, let me unmute everybody. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Yeah, if you have a question, just raise your hand and I'll unmute you. So, oh, all right. Well, Damon want to get that one off. Let's go, Damon. I think I muted you. Yeah, you good.
Hey, how y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we
can.
Yes,
sir.
Okay, what's good? So listen, real quick, I dipped and dabbled just a little bit in IT some years ago. I know a little bit of IT lingo, but I was in a classroom setting. I'm the type of learner I need to be in a classroom setting. So this whole cloud thing, I've never seen any type of program anywhere where where they offer cloud, whether it's AWS, Azure, any of that. So if I'm going to take the route of learning this on my own, how can I find a mentor? Because I feel like I need a mentor to help me. I don't need to be babysat, but I do need a mentor. I need somebody who's like, okay, this is what you need to do it like this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if I just go on AWS's website, which I did, and I'm just reading the material and I'm like, I have no idea what these people are talking about. I have no idea how to apply what it is I'm actually learning on this website. So how do I find a mentor who can help me apply this stuff?
Tamika,
answer first.
Take a stab at this first, and I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Yeah. So first, you said you're gonna take a stab at it first?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. And I'll follow up. Yeah, that's cool.
No problem that I've come across. Damon, that's a great question. Some people have different learning styles, and you have to find yours. The first thing I would say is join the AWS community. There should be a community out there that deals only with that platform. Once you join that community, you'll start getting emails about virtual classes where it's a live instructor that you can join for certain types of trainings, if that's the route you want to go. As far as in-person training, I'm not very sure of, but as far as a mentor, You got Black in the Cloud, man. I would start asking around. We're part of Black in the
We
Cloud.
full. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
if you're not
I'm
already
joking.
in that
It's a
group,
joke.
definitely join that Facebook group, and that might be one place to start for a mentor.
Yeah, and just to follow up with that, finding a mentor is you can think of it like as it. I always say it's like finding a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You know, relationship. It's a relationship. So you have to find the right person that fits for you. Their style fits for you. Their what they're pursuing or what they're doing in their field fits for you. It takes time. You know, it's not just easy. What I want a lot of people to know is that those of us who have, you know, made it in our careers and, you know, are rising in the ranks and becoming noticeable in the field, we're busy all the time. We're not just busy with work and life, but we're busy helping people. Like if you think that you're the only person that sent me a message, and just not to you, Desmond, personally, I'm just speaking generally because I get a lot of these. If you think you're the only person that sends me a message at 2:00 in the morning, at 10:00 in the afternoon, and you better not send me nothing at 8:00 in the morning. But if you think you're the only person that's going to message us saying, "Hey, can you mentor us?" You're wrong. We get this so often, and then you get it from people who don't actually execute on the advice that you give you. And that's the part that pisses us off even more, because it's hard for us to differentiate who's worth the time and who's not. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to, when you find a person who's willing to give you time, take advantage of it. When I was coming up and I was looking for mentors and I found mentors, they weren't mentors for me across the entire board. And that's another thing. You're not going to find, it's not going to be common that you find a mentor who's going to carry you from knowing nothing about cloud technology to across the board. They're going to help you with your interviews. They're going to help you with your LinkedIn. They're going to help you with your resume. No, you're going to have different people, mentors or different influencers that help you in certain categories. And on top of that, as I always say, if the fastest way to get in, pay for what you want. If you say, hey, mentor, you know, hey, I want you to mentor me. I'm willing to pay you with your service, with your offers, or here's what I can afford, X, Y, and Z. Do what it takes to get that coaching that you need. Or you can go to traditional means and go online and you can find these AWS classes or these Azure classes or Google classes. They're all over, right? They're all over, but a lot of it is trial and error. But that's why I created the Black in the Crowd group, to not only be a support group for those of us in the field and trying to get in the field, but also as a vetting group saying, hey, I'm considering this course. Hey, I'm considering this class. Hey, I'm considering this training. Is it worthwhile? And all the time we comment in the group and let you know if it's crap or if it's legit. You know, so that's the thing. Is mentoring is a process.
Yeah.
It's not overnight. There's going to be lots of rejection. That's like anything in life. And finding a good mentor is going to be just like when you get your first cloud job offer. You're going to go through lots of rejection. You're going to go through lots of duds. You're going to go lost. You're going to have to go. You gotta find. You gotta. And D can speak. Delijah can speak to this as well. The work doesn't stop when you get in the cloud and become an engineer. You still have to have that self-initiating type of aptitude when it comes to various projects you're going to take on. Yeah. You have to Google around. You're going to have to get to know, smoothie up the co-workers so that you can use them to be able to rely on them for certain, tasks or information that they may have. It's all this is work, so that's your approach. It needs to be to mentorship. And then along the way, learning along the way. Because you all ask us general questions that shows me you didn't do enough research. Because if you tell me, and again, I'm not talking to you personally, damn it, but just across the board. Because when you tell me, hey, how do I get started? That tells me you haven't even Googled and researched what it is you want to get started doing. Now, if you come to me and say, hey, how do I become a DevOps engineer? Or, hey, how do I become a cloud architect? Okay, now we talking. Now I'm thinking, okay, you're doing your homework. But you got to show and prove. You got to do the work. You got to, and ask along the way. So, all right. I think Dominique or somebody else had their hand up. But does that clarify enough for you, Damon? Let me unmute you. Well, you don't know. I think your phone froze.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Does that
that answers it for me. Yeah, that clarifies it for me, man. I appreciate it. Like I woke up just honestly, man, at 5 o'clock this morning, thinking about my life and how I'm gonna move ahead. And I was like, man, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just be doing stuff blindly
Right.
and not knowing, is this the specific lane that I need to take? But D'Amico's, I'm gonna be honest with you. You ready for what I'm about to tell you?
Yeah, man, I'm always ready. I got the cigar in my hand.
Because you and I have sort of built the rapport over the last couple months. You know what happened while I had that thought?
Mm-hmm.
I could hear you saying to me, well, it's better that you go ahead and do what you doing right now than to not be doing nothing at all.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And
That
I
didn't
woke
sound
up
like
and I
something I'm
was
gonna
like,
say.
I know it. I know it. So I was like, yo, let me go ahead and just move forward. And then I know I got this this video, you know, this call we're gonna be on today. Because I can't sit still, man. I can't. I have too much to lose to sit still.
Good.
So I gotta move forward somehow, some way, bro. So I appreciate your feedback just now.
Always,
And
man. Make
Devin,
sure.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Adi.
Sorry, this discomfort you're feeling now is supposed to propel you to the next stage. So feel it, sit with it, and then take action, because this is why we are uncomfortable, is to move to something greater.
Girl, you're a pastor. I don't care what nobody says.
Stop
All
playing.
right, Riley, go ahead. I got you.
Hey, I think I get where Demond is coming from, because I remember, I don't know if you remember this, back around the late 90s, everybody had a tech training school. And I know I got scammed by one. It's a school called CoreSoft. And I remember they had all these bogus certifications or whatever. And I mean, it sounded good, but like I didn't know any better back then. So it's important. I'm glad now we have, especially with the internet now, you can get mentors who can actually answer questions and make sure you're not wasting your time and your money. Because I can't remember how much these people scam me out of, but those certifications were worthless. I mean, I think I missed the whole class. They still send me a certification in the mail. They say I got it. There's like some programming classes and all. I mean, it's all the crap. I went to the classes. They weren't teaching anything, but you still got these certifications. I'm like, where am I going to use this stuff? But there's a lot of those back in the late 90s. I remember a lot of them here in Atlanta. They were all over the place. Everybody's going to teach you IT. Everybody's going to teach you how to get into the field. Yeah, whatever.
All right. Hold on one quick, and I just want to capitalize on that. And listen, if it sounds too good to be true, ask somebody. And just ask somebody, you know, because again, I'm about you avoiding as much debt as possible to become a cloud engineer. And at the same time, I want you to get in as efficiently as possible. All right. Don't go away and be in like some China type labor for some type of company and interning for 3 years, you know, because you want to get in. Nah, there's more efficient ways to get in. All right, Shakita, I think I saw your hand first.
Yeah, so this kind of goes back to what you were saying about, you not only want to get into the position, but you kind of want to, stay there and like progress. So my issue is, so I'm already in a cloud position, but I don't really have the foundation. I don't have a technical background, education. So I was considering maybe going to like do my master's in computer information science or whatever. But just like you said, like you don't want to, get more debt, behind it. So I just don't know the resources. Like, of course I have certs, but they aren't always educational. You know what I mean? Like a lot of programs will teach you just enough to obtain the cert, but I need like more educational resources. But I'm not sure, like, I don't know what I don't know, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, D. You want to approach that?
I do. Right. Work backwards. You're not going to run into anybody who knows all the ins and outs of a platform. You're already in the position now to do the work. Now, everything you come across, go to that, platform's site and Google and search and work backwards. If you come across, you're already in the Azure space. So if you are building a data factory pipeline, and you don't understand something you're doing, but you know how to do it to get it to work, but you don't understand why it works, go search for that. That's how you build your knowledge, because honestly, you're getting paid to do it already. You know, you're not unless you're aspiring to be the subject matter expert, you don't necessarily need to know the whys and stuff, but for self-knowledge and to become a more efficient developer, whatever your position is, you don't need to go back and go all the way back to the beginning and get a training, you know, program to like build yourself back up. You're already in the space. Go backwards and just continue to do that. Every time I come across something I don't understand, I'm going to look it up, whether it's in a book, online, asking a peer. And that's how you become more familiar, because next time you see something that works the same way, you have a general knowledge of why it's working that same way, which means you can move right into AWS from Azure.
Okay, I appreciate
it.
And also just to co-sign that, also you need to start looking into leadership tech meetings or conferences to attend, so that you can rub shoulders with other techs that are in the field and get a feel for what they're learning, what educational should you be looking out for, you know, what other aspects of tech should you even be trying to migrate into, different roles take on top of the leadership training that you get from the conference themselves, you know. So that's why I always definitely encourage for those who are already in the field to do is go to, now it's time for you to take things to the next level. Start going to these leadership conferences, these tech gatherings and conferences, you know, because a lot of you are out of the classrooms now and the courses now, and you kind of mature to your career. It's time to take things up a notch, you know, and find out where in cloud tech do you exactly want to be, because it might just end up, you might, like right now, it might be a support engineer, but or you might be a network engineer, and you might find that it's better on the consultant side or as a TAM somewhere, or doing pre-sales engineering, you know. So it's all sorts of ways you can you know, build out your career and not feel stagnant in your and pursuing objective-based training, you know. So hopefully that made a lot of sense for you.
it. Did. Thanks to both of you.
Amelia, the Jay-Z song, Amelia. I think I unmuted you. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
That's before your time. I'm great. All right, so what question you got for us?
All right, first, Dee, I just want to say thank you, because your story just completely resonated with me. I unfortunately am one of those people who has the crippling amount of debt from going to school. And now I have a job that honestly, like, I probably didn't even need to ever go to school for. But I live in high-ass California. So I definitely
She
have
said high-ass. Yo, that is the new alternative name for Cali now. High-ass California. Oh, wow.
It's horrible. But I have 2 kids. So my oldest is 17 and I just have a 7-month-old. So I'm an age gap mom, and I don't know what it is about the second one. I mean, definitely just trying to keep the first one alive. But with the second one, now I'm like, there has to, like, kind of what you said, there has to be just something that's better out there for me. And I work remote right now, so I'm not trying to go back into anyone's office either. But so I'm brand new to like all of this, like as far as like the cloud and engineering and all that kind of stuff. And don't like shoot my head off, but I started taking some courses on Coursera. I don't even know if that's how you say it. I don't know if that's even like a good platform to be using, but I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money to try to get the education. And I started off in doing the data analytics. And then when I heard about the cloud, I was like, oh, like GCP, like maybe I should do that. But now hearing you speak, I'm like, oh, is there like a merger kind of between like the two? Like it's the best of both worlds, because I'm like, I love the data analytics, but now I'm trying to get into the cloud. And so like, is data engineering like the best that I could do? And then if it is, then like, would you recommend the Microsoft, or like, should I make a switch, I guess, like, because I'm interested in both. So I'm just trying to figure out like if data engineering is what that would be or something else.
So data engineering is going to be an umbrella term. It's anytime you are dealing with data that leads up to some end result, right? So some end result meaning probably analytics or reporting. And that happens in both AWS, GCP, and Azure. So I can't give you a suggestion on which platform to choose as your focus, but just know that you would still be an AWS cloud data engineer or a GCP cloud data engineer or an Azure, yada, yada. So I hope that answers your question. If you're already in Coursera taking courses, there are a lot of other platforms that you can use as well that have similar course studies, I guess. But definitely if you're part of Black in the Cloud Facebook group, there's a whole thread, I want to say, where people are just dropping different recommendations of platforms that offer courses. So check that out first.
Okay.
I think that Microsoft is probably one of the simpler platforms to learn. But like I said, there are a lot of parallels. AWS and GCP seem to be a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for, D'Amico's, specialized.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
so what I mean, you're gonna find a lot more certified people in Microsoft products than you are gonna find in GCP and AWS. And
absolutely.
you're already, I'm guessing, I can't say for sure, but guessing person of color, and you're a woman. And if you go into GCP or AWS, then you're going to be in a very specialized niche type community, which means you're going to be cream of the crop, top of the pick whenever you start applying to jobs. And I'll say that to anyone, you know, I don't want to, like you said, pitch one over the other, but in my community, I know a lot of people working with Microsoft. So they're going to be, you know, it's just not going to be as niche. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to co-sign that, you know, everything has is you know, all of them, they're the same type of services and processes, just the terminologies are different, you know. And when it comes to which one should you do, you know, it's like which one makes you feel comfortable. When you do the training, try to even start both at the same time just to see which one you feel comfortable.
I agree.
Comfortable learning. You know, which terminology you're able to pick up a lot more fluently.
And user interface plays a big deal as well. Because I can go into Microsoft and automatically, like when I started the training, I was familiar just based on working in Power BI and just the terminology and things that my team uses. I was more familiar with that. If I were to go into AWS right now or GCP, I would know the parallels, but it's like a whole new, you know, lingo to pick up or whatnot. And the tools may work a little differently. I have seen inside of AWS before and I was lost. Now you give me about a week in it, I probably would be able to pick it up, but go into each one. Yeah, because they all have like free credits that you can use and stuff to explore the platform and see which one resonates with you. I agree. I'm a co-sign.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, hopefully we answered some of your questions, Amelia.
You did. Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. We about to end here because most of us got to go back to work, and some of us even got to go get some lunch, so we can eat for real. But Delijah, I really appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. You know, being a servant of the community. I love your story. I'm so happy for your success.
Thank
Again,
you.
being a SME is nothing to, you know, nothing. It's nothing. I don't know. It's just that's not light at all. Like that's a heavy title. Thank y'all all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all commentary. Delijah, if they want to get in touch with you, if they have more questions or whatever, and you have time, whatever, again, don't get mad if she don't respond. You know, we busy. You know, make noise. Gotta tag us on some posts or something to, you know, bring us out if we're not responding. But that's a whole nother video. But yeah, how can they get in touch with you if they need to?
So D is just fine. I go by D in most of my life, DEE. And you can reach me on LinkedIn. That's going to be my full name. So I'm going to drop my full name here. You're not going to find a lot of Delijah Williamses out there, maybe a few, but you'll see me. I'll drop my LinkedIn here. And you can also reach me through Facebook, Delijah Williams. Demikos, thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. All right, everybody. We out.
All right. Later.